let us now continue with the keynote speech by the Director General of the National Landscape Department. I would like to welcome Yang Berusaha Puan Hajah Rotina binti Muhammad Daik to deliver her keynote speech. The stage is yours.
The Honorable Datuk Yang Berhormat Datuk Hajah Zuraidah binti Kamarudin, Ministry of Housing and Local Government. Yang Berhormat Datuk Sri Haji Ismail bin Haji Abdul Muttalib, Deputy Ministers of Housing and Local Government. Yang berbahagia Tuan Razman Abdul Samad, Deputy Secretary General Management, Ministry of Housing and Local Government. Yang berbahagia Datuk Dr. Mary Wong Lai Ling, Deputy Secretary General Policy, Ministry of Housing and Local Government. Yang berbahagia Datuk Azhar bin Ahmad, Deputy Secretary General Urban Wellbeing, Ministry of Housing and Local Government. Distinguished guests, Head of Department, ladies and gentlemen, Assalamualaikum and very good afternoon to all in the hall as well as online. I am delighted to be here with all of you today celebrating the National Landscape Day 2021. In the previous year, we would have been in a green, vibrant park celebrating our special day, but somehow, as we are entering a particularly difficult period, perhaps we would take this opportunity to recreate celebration in a new, meaningful way. I'm sure, despite the struggles that we face due to the COVID-19 pandemic, your keen interest and positivity have brought us together in this seminar. This year's theme, Towards Future Landscape, Localizing Sustainable Development Goals, is in line with a firm commitment by Malaysian government to support, participate and implement the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development. It is chosen to emphasize and outline the roles of landscape players and stakeholders in planning, implementing, and developing, as well as materializing the Sustainable Development Goals. This movement covers 5 dimensions, namely the people, planet, prosperity, peace, and partnership, with 169 specific targets to be preserved, where we won't have to preserve our planet and future generation. Ladies and gentlemen, localizing relates to how the SDG can provide a framework for local development policy and how local and regional government can support the achievement of the SDG through the action from bottom up. Particularly in this matter, Malaysia has taken concrete steps to fully implement the SDG, which is under the jurisdictions of Economic Planning Unit, Prime Minister's Department. The 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development serves as our collective blueprint to achieve a better and more sustainable future for all. In the process to embrace and implement the 17 SDG in a systematic and measurable manner, Malaysia has put in place an enabling environment through the following initiatives, such as establish a multi-stakeholder participatory governance structure headed by National SDG Council, chaired by our Prime Minister. Some of the objectives set out by the government includes reductions of the productions of greenhouse gases to 40% to achieve national carbon neutral. Ladies and gentlemen, over previous year, we have numerous voids and drawbacks while executing landscape development in Malaysia. Many landscape are not governed equitably, and those within the landscape industry sometimes do not know their right. Acknowledging this matter, a shift will realign our strategies toward a holistic planning and implementation to cover the prospective stakeholder, platform, and intended outcome. A model introduced by International Union of Conservation of Nature, which aimed to balance land use dynamism to combine natural resources management and environment and livelihood consideration, have been successfully implemented as the concept of planning and design with nature. It covers 4 levels of institution, which need to be adopted in Malaysia's future landscape endeavor. The first and largest institution from the bottom is the communities. This is the most marginalized group of the public need to be engaged effectively in decision making and make their interests in landscape improve. The second tier is the resource, the party who act as a community resource institutions and mediator. This group will carry the responsibility in initiating policy-related decisions, taking deliberate measures to give voice and representing those marginalized. The third layer of the pyramid is the platform that we are governing, that is the landscape. This platform integrate the interests of different stakeholder groups. And at the last top layer is the government institution, which includes the policy maker to make sure all engagement are taken into consideration and delegates the needs to the industry and service provider, which would result in more effective, sustainable, and equitable landscape outcome to benefit everyone. Ladies and gentlemen, sustainable landscape planning approach is one of the approach that we need to put in place. National Landscape Department, as a leading agency in landscape development in Malaysia, has always advocated landscape architecture approach in any development planning, design, and management process, especially in urban areas. We are currently formulating a new landscape policy to set out a new target and benchmark with firm action plan to touch every dimensions of life. The new model and ideal structure that we can adopt as a guidance in our task to achieve these sustainable development goals within the landscape architecture context is the landscape architects and other professionals related to these professions have a substantial role in making sure we are utilizing our knowledge, experience, and expertise in translating and transpiring our idea on ground. We hope all these parties will work closely with the national and local government and other stakeholders to highlight the importance of landscape agenda in building a greener, vibrant, and resilient nation. Along the way, ladies and gentlemen, it is important that the 3 fundamental dimensions of SDG, namely the environment, social, and economy, are taken as essential components in localizing the goal. In every physical development, nature-centric approach should be the top priority as it shows and it can protect and restore both natural resources and natural environment. We will have to shift from the mindset of controlling nature to the mindset of living with nature. Secondly, adopting people-centric development approach required us to give priority on people together to uphold their constitutional needs, which includes custom, culture, and heritage, that shapes our landscape. It needs extensive consultation between various sectors and civil society who supply the know-how as well as citizens who provide feedback for continuous improvement. Thirdly, in the whole dimension, there is the economic aspect, which is equally important to be put parallel with the other two dimensions. I believe it is timely for us to switch the perceptions toward landscape of being seen as merely cosmetic and beautification. Landscape can contribute to a substantial economic outcome if it's planned and executed accordingly, or integrate and venture with other profit-making sectors such as tourism, township development, industry, trade, and businesses. Ladies and gentlemen, in planning for the future, adopting development of green infrastructure is the strategic approach to landscape by applying key principles of landscape ecology and environment. Multi-usage of green infrastructure has potential of contributing to climate change adaptation in various scale and regions, such as space multifunctionality, connectivity, where it improves the ecology, social and economic functions of green spaces. Apart from that, vertical greenery is also one of the solutions that has increased its importance. Ladies and gentlemen, large-scale landscape and public parks have proven to be more beneficial towards the environment as well as people's health and well-being. We are trying to upscale our effort to improvise the provisions of green spaces in the national and regional development planning in accordance to the National Physical Planning Council standard, the ratios of 2 hectares open space per 1,000 population. Landscape Department has initiated urban landscape development program, which exercise large-scale renewal, urban renewal and revitalizations of cityscape using landscape approach. Those comprehensive analyses, the cities are planned to be walkable and vibrant through green leakages and vegetations, which also aim to reduce the heat within the city. Apart from the developments of large-scale parks, they are only to put, besides fulfilling the public recreational needs, it also can transform the image of the cities. Ladies and gentlemen, all the progress and success in the landscape that you have witnessed today are the outcome of the policies, strategies, and actions that have been formulated and launched previously. So, to chart the future for the next 25 years, National Landscape Department is committed to play leadership role in emphasizing nature as the heart of development, where having a sustainable landscape, park, and gardens will become a DNA of a good city. Our aspiration is that in future, we are able to establish the situation where our public will choose to live with natural landscape, and the choice of having clean and organized living environment will be their priority, as portray of their love and appreciations toward their landscape. In order to do that, we hope to form and reinforce synergy with all related stakeholders, especially the communities, professionals, industry players, state and local government to carve the path and transform our future. I think with that speech, I will hope everybody will be with us to establish a good future landscape. I wish you all a fruitful deliberation today. ahead, and I hope that we will enjoy the celebration of National Landscape Day 2021. Thank you.
Thank you to Yang Berusaha Puan Haja Rotina binti Muhammad Daik, Director General National Landscape Department, for the keynote speech.